Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jerry Carter. I'm with the Sierra Crest Business Law Group, and I'm here to answer a question that we encounter quite often from clients who are business owners. The question is, how can I protect my business from a key employee who leaves the company and then goes into competition with us? And what I want to share with you is 3 types of agreements that you should have in place with your key employees. Got an additional bonus tip at the end of that you can also consider in your business. So the first kind of agreement you want to have in place with your key employees is sometimes called a non-competition agreement, sometimes called a non-compete. And what a non-competition agreement does is it says that the employee, when he or she leaves your company, cannot compete with the company. And it's going to have 3 restrictions on it. The first is going to be a geographic restriction, so there will be a place. It may be, for example, Reno, or maybe the state of Nevada, or worldwide, but it will have some geographic scope. The second restriction that it will have is a time restriction. It may say the employee can't compete with your company for 6 months. It may say 12 months. It may say 2 years. It may say 5 years. But it's going to have some kind of a time limitation. And then the third, which is as important or more important than the first 2, is it will describe the type of business activity that the former employee cannot engage in. Typically that should match up with the type of service or product that your company offers. Now, the key with all 3 of these restrictions is that under the law, they have to be reasonable. And reasonable means different things to even different judges. And so that's a discussion that you want to have with your business law attorney to zero in on the most reasonable restrictions that are most likely to hold up. Some people ask, are non-competition agreements enforceable in Nevada? The answer is yes, but when you consider the reasonability restrictions, sometimes those are enforced more lightly or more aggressively by the judges in Nevada, and sometimes they're completely thrown out if they're considered to be just beyond the pale unreasonable. So, number 1, a non-competition agreement. The second type of agreement you want to have in place with any of your key employees is a confidentiality agreement. And what the confidentiality agreement does is it tells the employee that he or she cannot personally use the company's confidential information and cannot share the confidential information with other people. When we talk about confidential information, it may vary from company to company. Most companies are going to consider their customer lists and information on those customer lists to be confidential. Most companies will consider their strategic plans to be confidential. Some will have proprietary processes for delivering their services or producing or delivering their products. And so it's important when you talk to your business attorney to really be clear about and precise about what it is that is the important confidential information in your company that gives you a competitive advantage. And then once that's clarified and defined, then that's got to be treated as confidential in your confidentiality agreements. The third type of agreement that you need to have in place with your key employees to keep them from leaving the company and competing with you is what is often called a non-solicitation or a non-solicit agreement. And what that agreement does is it tells the former employee, you cannot try to hire the company's employees away from me. In addition, you cannot try to lure the company's customers to leave our company and go to your company. And there are going to be some restrictions on how far you can go in a non-solicitation agreement. And there's a recent amendment to the Nevada revised code on this subject, but by and large, a reasonable non-solicitation agreement is enforceable in the courts, and it's an important layer in your protection against key employees leaving the company and going into competition with you. And I promised you, after talking about the 3 types of agreements you need to have in place, that I would give a bonus strategy. And the bonus strategy is that in addition to having these agreements in place, you as a business owner need to really think about how you interact with your customers. If on the one hand, you leave all of that interaction to one single employee in your company, and that employee runs the account, services the account, and does everything that the customer needs, the customer is going to start to shift their loyalty to that one key employee. And if they haven't shifted their loyalty to that person, they're at least going to consider that person as being the one that is most knowledgeable and capable of meeting their needs. On the other hand, you as a business owner can set things up so that instead of one individual delivering the vital service or product to the company, you have a team that is delivering that service. So make sure that you're spreading responsibility out among various team members in your company so that the customer doesn't view one specific individual as being the key to their needs getting met. Rather, the customer understands that the team functions as a whole and that they can rely on the team even if one particular member of the team shifts responsibilities or even leaves the company. So that's your bonus tip, is to do business with your customers through a team rather than give all of the responsibility to one specific individual. If you'd like to talk about any of these concepts that we've discussed in this little session in greater detail, or with specific business goals that you have in mind, I would encourage you to reach out and give us a call. One of the business attorneys at the Sierra Crest Business Law Group would be happy to sit down with you and talk about how you can strengthen your business and protect against a key employee leaving the company and then going into competition with you. Thank you.